This is RVD wishing all my damn fans in France a happy Rob Van Dam's birthday. I miss you all.
Hey, salut tout le monde! Aujourd'hui, c'est une vidéo un petit peu particulière, il n'y aura pas d'imitation. Pour ceux qui ne le savent pas, dans mon ancienne vie, j'étais journaliste de catch. Et aujourd'hui, c'est l'anniversaire de Rob Van Dam, une véritable légende vivante de la discipline, qui fête ses 50 ans. Et aujourd'hui, je vous propose une interview exclusive. Et je vous laisse tout de suite en compagnie de Mr. Monday Night, à qui on souhaite un très très joyeux anniversaire. Happy birthday, Rob Van Dam. Hey Rob, how are you?
Hey, very good. Very good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's Back to the Future. I mean, like 10 years ago.
Yeah, man.
Today, Rob, you just turned 50. Time flies like RVD, like you when you're doing a frog splash. 50. So, we wish you a very happy birthday, a really heartfelt happy birthday, Rob. About 2 years ago, you moved from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. Despite the context of the virus, are you going to go out to a bar to celebrate?
When I'm in the mood, I do like to drink, you know, and I mostly, anytime I'm out, you know, I everybody knows me. There's a few places I go to that I'm regulars, that my friends, you know, work there, so I'm drinking for free, and they're just happy to have me there hanging out. And I'm pretty boring when I go out. I don't dance. I'm the guy that's just standing against the wall or sitting on the bar stool, you know, drinking. That's everyone that knows me, you know, doesn't expect more than that.
If you had the opportunity to maybe one last great run, where would it be? AEW? Were you in talks with Chris Jericho, maybe, for getting there? Do you really have the desire to be back, or?
I'm not in talks, and I'm all about the money. You know, people don't understand. Some people think, some fans, they're ignorant to the facts. You know what I mean? They don't understand.
It's a business.
Maybe they think it's right, and maybe they think when I had the WWE belt and the ECW belt, they might think that I was in my prime then, and they probably think that I wish I was still there. But right now, I make 20 to 30 times in one match what WWE was paying me at the lowest. I'm saying 20 to 30 times in one match. I can make that much more money outside of WWE than I can there. What's the work? Why would you want to work 30 matches to make the same money that you can work one match and make money? That's something fans can't understand, because they think we just would love to be in the ring 24/7.
You must be thinking about the end of your career, Rob. You are a future Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. Would you love to end your career on a specific match, where your career is on the line, like Ric Flair did, or Shawn Michaels, or Kurt Angle? Or do you prefer to quietly retire?
I could see it going either way. I don't think I have a preference. You know, the one thing about having a retirement match that would be appealing would be if it was built up and it was a good payday. Otherwise, I don't give a fuck.
Nonetheless, I don't know if you give a fuck about politics, but let's talk about it for a second. Joe Biden is the new president of the United States of America. He's been elected on a fractured country. There is a huge crisis all over America with the COVID and all the racial tensions we had this year with the Black Lives Matter and the George Floyd case. Rob, what's your opinion on all of this?
Well, one, you know, I've always hated racism's so stupid, and it's ignorant, and I mean, I've always hated that, and I don't think that anybody thinks any otherwise of me. But now I do feel a little bit more like, you know, everybody does need to make some changes so that can be a thing of the past. I think it's in the schools. You know, I don't know if I really thought about it that much before, but now I'm thinking, when we're kids, we learn from schools and we learn from our parents. But our parents, they learned from school, you know, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Their ideas and perspective is outdated, but it's the school's job, I think, now to catch everybody up. And I hope they'll start teaching all kids about the value of life, about the value of their lives, and about everybody else's, so that we can see people and, you know, as equals.
And it's coming even here in France. there are some protests, and I think it's becoming a worldwide thing.
Yeah, it seems to be. And you know, you can watch a highlight reel of all the black people, whether they're getting killed or shot or mistreated by the police. They showed a highlight reel on, I think it was on CNN, and they must have had 12 or 15 cases, like back to back. Some of them we even forgot about it because it was like, oh yeah, that's right, the cops shot that guy. It's, you know, but they didn't forget. They definitely didn't forget, and so I understand the frustration. I didn't know that it was a worldwide problem, but it makes sense.
Yeah, I was thinking about The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He recently stood up against Donald Trump after being a wrestler, after now being a very successful actor in Hollywood. Some people believe that Dwayne Johnson could be the next, one day, president of the USA.
I say absolutely. I think if he wanted to do that, he would get so much support, and he gets so much respect anyway, and he's in a leadership position. You know, he's on top of the world, and he does rub elbows with the most famous people that we ever hear about. You know, that's his life. Yeah. If he chooses that path, there's no question about it that he'll have a lot of support.
Yep. Would you vote for him?
Yeah, give me a chance. I do want to see who's up against him, but probably so. Yeah, I support him.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
And speaking of him, I was watching the other day the WWE Network, and I was looking back at your matches at the end of 2001. That was so huge. You were on fire at the time. That was really a great time for being a wrestling fan. And you were teaming up with Steve Austin, and both on Raw and SmackDown. You actually teamed with The Rock 4 times in December 2001. Do you remember if The Rock wanted to work with you because you were a new guy coming from ECW? What memory do you keep of this time?
Well, I don't know. You know, usually with things like that, you know, we show up and then we look at the card, which is posted on the wall, usually, and that'll be how we see what we're doing that day, unless an agent finds you first. You know, like I would show up, and then it's like, oh, I'm teaming up with Kevin Nash. Okay, that's weird. And then after a while, he said, hey, we're a tag team. I said, we are? He said, yeah, they keep putting us together. We're a team now. I was like, huh. I guess I didn't even realize that because sometimes I wasn't teaming with them, you know, like on other shows. And, hey, I'm teaming with Kane tonight. You know, that's how that happens. Now, who's involved in making those decisions earlier in the day? I don't know. The Rock definitely could have been. He could have been one of the decision makers. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, at the time, none of us knew that he was going to be as big of a star as he is now. Yeah. You know, even though he was already The Rock. Yeah. Nobody knew he was going to be the world's highest paid actor. Come on.
Absolutely. Let's move forward 2 years later. We are at WrestleMania 19 in 2003, Seattle, Washington. You are on the card on the dark match, teaming up with Kane. On this very night, The Rock battles Stone Cold Steve Austin for the very last time, and Stone Cold retires. Do you believe Stone Cold Steve Austin could, if he wanted to, of course, come back for one last match?
It's definitely possible. If he wants to do it, I think he definitely could do it. You know what I mean? And it's an environment that's controlled enough to where, you know, I see guys that are in their 70s that are in there still wrestling sometimes, and it's not an issue really. I don't know why he would want to though. I mean, he's very successful. He's making so much money, and it seems like he's still on Raw like once a month or something. Anyway, I'm sure it's not that often, but even if he's been away and hasn't wrestled in a while, he's definitely been on the show often enough to still hold that value, and he always will have that value because he's an icon.
Yeah, speaking of Stone Cold, I was looking at his interview with the dead man, the Undertaker. I didn't know. We learned that you almost faced the Undertaker at WrestleMania in 2002, but Taker chose to work with Ric Flair. Taker is now officially retired at Survivor Series. he left in an empty stadium with no fans in the building. My question is simple. For you, RVD, will Undertaker be back in a big stadium? I think he deserves it to retire in front of fans in a big stadium.
That's a good question. I think that he will. I think, I don't know. I mean, Ric Flair wants another match, I heard. It's the kind of business that in order to even get your foot in the door, you got to sleep, eat, breathe it. It's got to be more than anything else. It's one of those kind of careers. And so if you never shake that and you still love it more than anything else in your life, which my priorities changed. I've always been very vocal about that. I've always said, even earlier in my career, after a while, I was like, this is cool, but if there was like some other opportunity that was better or whatever, of course I would consider it. And that's like a sin in the dressing room, especially back in the day, to even say anything like that. And who used to give me shit. What the hell, are you an actor or a wrestler? But I don't know, I think Taker, I think he loves the business. I think there's a lot of value because the fans still love seeing him. And I think he's getting paid a ton of money each time he puts the boots on. So I could see him continuing. For an indefinite amount of time.
Okay.
Continuing to retire and then come out of retirement.
Okay, Rob. You told that you got a concussion that kills visual impairments. First of all, are you feeling better with this?
I'm feeling much better.
And I read on the internet that you will never be able to be back in a WWE ring. So is that correct?
People think that they actually read from me that WWE said I couldn't go back there because of my vision impairment. Mm-hmm. That didn't come from me. That's some bullshit that was put out on the internet.
Okay.
And then everybody thinks that whatever they read is true on the internet. I feel like correcting people when they're wrong about me. Truth is, Ty, I've never talked to WWE about my concussion ever.
Okay.
Of course, I'm better. I can wrestle. My eyes test is normal with reactionary time and visibility, but I do have my eyesight is a little different than it was before this particular match that I had in 2016.
Okay. It
gave me double vision, and now sometimes when I'm tired and I turn my head a certain way, I can trigger that double vision still.
Okay.
If you haven't seen my documentary Headstrong,
mm-hmm.
It covers all of this. It covers the whole conversation because we had cameras rolling when I was doing a stand-up comedy tour, and we had cameras for that, but I had double vision, and we had to start talking about concussion because it wasn't going away. That became a much bigger part of my life, going to neurologists, CAT scan, MRI, vision therapy. So the movie Headstrong ended up being much bigger, really good, and it's important because I'm trying to keep the conversation about concussions going so we can learn more.
Okay, Rob. How can you explain, Rob, that some very talented wrestlers that never break through the glass ceiling and they never become huge stars, guys like Cesaro or Dolph Ziggler, they are in the WWE for so many years now. How can they not feel some kind of frustration?
Yeah, I can't say. In general, it's all about if you're selling tickets. Yeah. If you're not, I've always looked at it this way. If people are buying tickets to watch you and support you specifically, then you're just a spot on the card.
Yeah.
You're just a spot filler. I never was that guy. Maybe when I started out. But a lot of people that are just good hands, they feel like they have more coming to them because they paid a lot of dues, but sometimes they're not as marketable. Now the guys that you mentioned, Cesaro, I think he's one of the best guys there, and Dolph Ziggler's very good.
Yeah.
I have to think that their push or lack of, either way, the direction that they're going to go is going to have a lot to do with how specific people feel about them personally. And that's always been an issue in WWE. The guy or guys that make the actual decisions seem to have different opinions than a lot of the fans, on on what's worth money and what should be pushed. Showcase.
Absolutely. And what advice could you give to a young wrestler who could feel maybe frustrated and to work in the indies and never will get his dream, which is to be signed by the WWE?
I think the best thing somebody can do is to lower their expectations. Yeah. You know what I mean? I see so many guys that are so frustrated and they're comparing themselves to every other wrestler. I'm as good as that guy. If that guy's got a chair, I'm bigger than that guy, right? Is he bigger than me? Or and people compare themselves so much. How about just looking at it like, okay, this is my life, this is my path. Wherever my path takes me, I'm going to be there, and let's make the most of it. I don't think anybody should get into any profession and think that chances are really, really great that they're going to be a superstar. Anything, Yeah. I don't care if you're a stand-up comedian, comedy, anything. If you want to be a superstar, that means you're among the very, very small percentage that really stand up. And it doesn't mean you can't do it. Go for it. But to assume that all of that is just coming to you, to have that entitlement to think, hey, I deserve, to be in the top spot because, I'm better than this person or that person. I just think that's the wrong way about going about your life. You know what I mean? That's my advice. Make your own path, make the best of it, and don't hate other people because their path is where you want to be. That's one way to do it. Hold other people down so that you can stay up above, but that's not the way I do it.
You had matches with the biggest names in the business, from Ric Flair to Brock Lesnar, Kane, Bam Bam Bigelow, Shawn Michaels, The Rock, Taker, Stone Cold, Triple H, Eddie Guerrero, Edge, Booker T, Chris Jericho, Jeff Hardy, John Cena, Roman Reigns, and the list goes on and on and on. You have crossed the ages and seen the business evolve. What about the evolution of the in-ring work? About the wrestling holds and the moves? How did they evolve over the years?
Now the styles change so much that, people can do stuff that I couldn't have done with Bam Bam. I had to get my stuff in, and it used to be about protecting the business. That was the number one rule always. So I had to get my stuff in and be quick enough to flip or spin, around the guy. But nowadays, since it's not about protecting the business, these guys do moves, and when they do the moves, it's like they're doing, I can't tell who's doing the move on who, because it looks like the guy's helping the other guy so much. Wait, the guy just wrapped his own legs around the guy, and now he's acting like he's stuck. I don't get that. Or, what's the Destroyer? Oh, I hate the Destroyer. Because I don't get it. It's just, I couldn't have done the Destroyer with Bam Bam Bigelow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who's doing the move? The guy, this guy's jumping, and then he's also taking the ball. Wait, they're both bumping, and one guy's selling. I don't know. A lot of that is where it's changed to, but I guess evolution is important.
Yeah. For everyone, RVD is like a baby face, a fan favorite. But I think that at some times of your career, you were a heel.
I was a heel when I came into WWE in 2001. The whole ECW, when we brought ECW back as a third brand in 2006 or 7, the whole company was a heel. They had us doing run-ins on on Monday Night Raw so that we'd get booed. They trained everybody to boo us and then gave us our own show. When I came into ECW as well, when I was wrestling against Sabu. Yeah. Not my first time, but I am obviously known as a long-term babyface, and I don't think my character is that much different being a heel. I just show a little different side.
Just a question for my wife's vlog. She's got a travel blog, a website, which is called vlogtrotter.com. And just a question, not wrestling related, about travel, because with your job, you traveled all over and all around the world. What is your favorite country, and do you like to visit some countries when you're on vacation, or you prefer staying in the States?
Yeah, well, traveling is a lot of work, and it can be a real pain in the ass flying. So I don't do a lot of it when I'm not getting paid to do it, but I do enjoy when I'm in other countries and stuff, experiencing them. I've got obviously a huge list of other countries I've been to, and when I have time to check them out a little bit, it's pretty cool. You know, I guess a place that pops out in my mind, no one's going to be really surprised. It's probably the number one guess, but you know, I really enjoy the town of Amsterdam. You know, it's a lot of my experience there, you know, was back, you know, being able to smoke legally in the coffee shops, but now I can smoke legally anywhere, you know, and it's legal here where I live, Nevada in California, and yeah, so it's not just that, but I really like the town. I like the vibration of the people and their free thinking, you know. But I like the canals, the buildings, the history. So I'm gonna go with Amsterdam as one of my favorite places, and hope to go there again soon. It's been a while.
What about ecology and environmental crisis? Is it a subject on which you're sensitive? What can we do to that to limit the damage that we do on this earth, the human beings?
Oh God, that's always been the case, and the argument, you know, with the cannabis plant, it can replace like up to 80% of everything. You know, people know you can make shitty clothes out of hemp, but you can make not just wood. You can make plastics and like steel substitutes. You can use it as fuel. You know, the hemp seed oil. Henry Ford made a car out of hemp that ran on hemp seed oil. He wanted us to be able to take care of ourselves and grow our own hemp, have stills in the backyard, and be able to take care of ourselves. And the people that rule the world don't want that. You know, the oil companies don't want you to use hemp. Alcohol and tobacco don't want you to utilize cannabis. You know what I mean? Pharmaceuticals definitely don't want you to use cannabis because it could replace almost everything with them, you know.
Absolutely, Rob. There is quite a debate in France about the use of CBD. That's true. Actually, European justice deems the ban on the use of CBD illegal.
It's come such a long way, though. We only knew about THC for years, and now CBD is another element of the plant. But there's over 100 different properties in the cannabis plant, and it's illegal to study it still. But as it's getting more legalized, and people are looking at the plant more and more, we're learning more about it. I started my own CBD company, and my motivation was to, just like with the movie Headstrong, I want to find a way to help with brain damage and
yeah, you were a friend with Chris Benoit, and after the tragedy, and you worked with him several times, you had many matches with Chris, but you worked with him, you knew him. Is there a link between Concussions and what he did?
And not just from Concussions, but, you know, a lot of my friends had committed suicide, and it seems to be from depression, seems to be from concussions. That's the pathology. And so my motivation always will be to find that neurological formula, and once I do get that, then I'll always be wanting to make it better, you know, with the more information that comes in. But they're saying CBG can actually regenerate dead brain tissue, and when we get a formula that can help with this sort of thing, but something, you know, that would like protect the brain from letting unwanted proteins sit on it, that would help in all these cases. Yeah, so that's my passion, and that's where I'm going. Someday, you're going to be able to use cannabis to solve almost any need that you have, and not get the side effects that you don't want, because we know how it works now. Say, you know what? I want to feel good. I want to stay up and study. I don't want to be tired. I want my attention span to be focused, not distracted. I don't want to get the munchies. I don't want the giggles, but I want to. Someday we're going to be able to check a bunch of boxes, and they'll be able to actually put these cannabinoids together and give us something that is going to help a lot of people. Most of my friends from my generation tell me that they do have long-term brain damage. Some of them say they see floaters in the sky. Sometimes my friends say they get headaches, they're light sensitive, short attention span. Yeah, myself, although I've had hundreds of concussions, I've I've always said that I never had any lasting effects until I got this one concussion in November of 2016, which is on my movie Headstrong. It wasn't even a hard hit to the head side. It was just like a rolling, like a weird kind of arm drag. And when I got up, I had double vision. This has happened hundreds of times. I usually just shake my head and it goes away. This one didn't go away for months. It was so strange, you know. But there's a big difference between long-term concussion damage and CTE. CTE is it's a degenerative disease where your brain is wasting away. It's really, really bad to have that.
Yeah.
People don't know that there's a difference. People are using the term too loosely now. You know, wrestlers think they have CTE. Oh, I know I got CTE. No, you don't, dude. You probably have just long-term concussion damage unless you've been diagnosed with CTE. And then it gets real bad because sometimes you don't even remember your name.
What about all the unprotected chair shots to the head? Why the wrestlers did they use to take all those risks?
Yeah. I don't know if you can watch my movie because you're in trance, but you will see I have all of that. Like everything we're talking about is in my movie. Like I really want you to see it if you get a chance. But yeah, it has all that, and we have the footage. You see me getting all these chair shots. It's a very emotional movie, you know, just like documentaries should be. Yeah. It's like people have told me it's like watching, it's like being on a roller coaster because I take you right through my dips and my, you know, and my ascensions. And but anyway, yeah, you see some of the chair shots that you remember watching me take over the years. We have one scene where it just shows like a montage, crack. Wow. Crack. While and it actually a lot of people cry at this part because the music has a lot to do with it, but also I'm getting my brain scanned, and it keeps flashing back and forth between me in the doctor's office with this thing on my head and those chair shots, and it's I'm really proud of the way the movie turned out. But also, you know, this is worth mentioning. I was doing an interview the other day, and the guy made me come to terms with something that I hadn't realized. You know, obviously everybody tries to be RVD nowadays.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob, if you had to redo your career, would you have put your body so much on the line? What would you have changed if it had to be done again?
I would have been a lot more careful driving.
Yeah.
I would have paid attention to the speed limit more, and I wouldn't have had my weed all spread out all over the dashboard, and I wouldn't have been smoking in the car without having some good air freshener. I would have been more careful, and I would have been more open-minded. You know, part of being in that competitive spirit, you know, back in the day was arrogance. That was part of it. You know, like I couldn't open up my heart to a lot of the other guys in the room because I was feeling like, man, fuck that guy. They want to take my spot, or they're talking shit about me. I'd rather knock that guy out there, you know, show him what's going on. Like this is now I look at it as like that was so immature. It was necessary at the moment, I guess, you know.
Looking back at your career, what are you the most proud of? What did our video bring to the table?
I used to be the only one doing flips and stuff, and now everybody's doing it. So I know that I can take credit. No, not just me, but I'll go ahead and take credit for changing the style. Back in the day, you know, when I got in, wrestlers were 270 pounds, and they would party a lot more. They drank a lot. They took pills, you know, and now wrestlers are like 175 pounds, and everybody's really athletic. You have to be a legitimate athlete now. I have helped change the style to make it, you know, more legitimate athletically, and also that I've helped educate everybody on cannabis, and so a lot of the wrestlers are smoking instead of doing dangerous pills and drugs.
Yeah.
I said I think that the current generation is going to live longer, have a higher life expectancy than mine. A lot of my peers already died off. How do I feel about maybe being responsible for this generation living longer? I never thought about it that way, but that's pretty awesome to look at it like that. I think I might make myself a trophy for that one.
When your in-ring days are over, if you had the opportunity to become a trainer in an NXT or commentator or a play-by-play announcer, I don't know, would you want to still work in the business or you don't care?
Well, I am an opportunist, but I really don't think that that's likely. I don't have a passion for any of what you mentioned. If everything just fell into place and it was, the right choice to make at the time, then yeah, but, say don't bet on anything like that.
Yeah.
Right now, it really looks like RVD CBD is going to take over more and more of my time. And there's so many different deals and contracts that are being materialized, and they keep getting bigger and bigger, and they involve everything from co-partnering with different products, venturing from CBD to THC in illegal states, distribution, manufacturing. Like there's so many people I'm dealing with right now. It really looks like they're going to continue to keep me busier and busier. And one of the best parts is like the reviews that I get from people. They love the product and they're just saying, "Thank you so much. You've helped the quality of my life," and that's amazing. I made my CBD pain cream different than everybody else's, and it's paying off because people tell me they haven't been able to get results from anything. They try mine, and now their pain's gone. And I mean that hits me straight in the heart. That's almost as good as writing me a check.
Okay. Thank you, Rob.
Very rewarding.
Thank you very much for your time. It was really a pleasure to have you on the phone.
Okay, cool. Good talking to you again.
And
have a great day.
Thank you so much, Rob, for your time. And people can go and visit your website, rvdcbd.com, about all what you do right now and your activities. Rob Van Dam. He was my guest. Again, Rob, a happy birthday. We also wish a very happy birthday to Trish Stratus and to the one and only Stone Cold Steve Austin. And as he would say, and that's the bottom line, 'cause I said so.